Coming up.
And what laughter yoga is it's an exercise program that combines deep breathing and laughter exercises. The whole point of yogic breathing is to breathe out more than you breathe in.
Mm-hmm.
What better way to do that than when you're laughing?
Mm-hmm. True.
So there's this awesome fun fact that your brain and your body don't know the difference between laughter that is spontaneous because you're watching awesome cat videos and laughter that's intentional because you're doing it on purpose. You're gonna create serotonin and dopamine in your gut, and if you make eye contact with each other while you're fake laughing, you're gonna make oxytocin too, because it's the I love you chemical, and we do that when we look at each other. When you're laughing, you're disengaging your sympathetic nervous system. When you're laughing, you're activating your diaphragm. When you activate your diaphragm, that's your parasympathetic nervous system taking over. And that's allowing, different areas of your brain to be able to function. Right. So you feel better in like 2 minutes. All you have to do is laugh on purpose. Anybody can laugh for 5 syllables. Ha, 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 ha. You can laugh for 5 syllables.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do it a little longer than that. And then it's your diaphragm working. And then the next thing you know, you're laughing because it really catches after about 20 seconds.
I keep thinking of Santa Claus, like, ho, 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 ho. Like, you guys know at the end that we're going to be doing some laughter yoga with Laura, so I'm going to prep you guys.
If it's summertime and you're trying to pull your laughter lawnmower, you start out. So we just spent about 4 or 5 minutes giggling, laughing, raising our serotonin and our dopamine.
Mm-hmm. And working our face muscles.
All right, working our face muscles, breathing on purpose, and being in charge of our own joy.
We have a special offer for our Munch Bunch listeners. To book a virtual consult with Megan, she's offering a discount of $25 off. Just email her, Megan, at nwmyofunctionaltherapy.com or through her website, www.orofacial-myology.com. To book a virtual consult with Kimmy for the $25 off, email her mouthmusclememory@outlook.com or through the website, www.mouthmusclememory.com. Now on to the episode.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Munch Bunch podcast. It is your co-host, Megan Van Noy, myofunctional therapist, with my co-host and bestie, Kimmy Nishimoto, and I am so excited to introduce our guest for today. We have Dr. Laura Collatz joining us. She is a dentist in Pittsburgh, North Carolina. Her practice, which I love, is named Enchanting Smiles Family Dentistry. So it looks like her practice is between Raleigh and Chapel Hill. If you guys need to look at a map to refresh on the East Coast, because Kimmy and I know nothing about the East Coast. And Dr. Laura's got a really cool journey, you guys. So originally, we met in a entrepreneur group, and she is a laughter yoga instructor, and I had never heard of that. And so instantly I was like, you need to come on the podcast and tell us more. But there's so much more to her journey of where she started and how she got here. So Dr. Laura, in about 2 seconds, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us more about you. But Kimmy, we need to pull the affirmator.
All right.
So Dr. Laura, as our guest, Kimmy is going to shuffle the deck, and you're going to tell her when. And you're going to pick our card.
When?
We have humility. So there's a little brain sitting on a cabana chair, drinking a pina colada. It says humility. I take a deep breath and release all of my desire to be right. Without right, what's left? A soft and pliable version of me that's willing to make mistakes, hear other people's opinions, and try doing stuff a different way. In other words, I get to take a pretty sweet, all-inclusive brain vacation.
I love it. I love it. I think humility is probably a good way to, come into a space of mindfulness and yoga as well. So I think that's beautiful. So, Dr. Laura, Tell us more about yourself. Tell us everything.
All the things. All the things. So yeah, I've been in dentistry a really long time. I was a hygienist first, and I graduated in 1991.
Woohoo!
So I actually met Esther Wilkins.
Oh my gosh, really?
Met
The one that
Esther
wrote
Wilkins.
the book,
The book.
the big red book.
The book that we
Hygiene
all get.
Bible. Yes. I met her in Charlotte at a holiday dental conference. Before I graduated from hygiene school, I had a car accident and I broke C5.
Wow.
And so I was in hygiene school. I was 19 years old, and I lost 75% of the tactile and strength in my hygiene hand.
Wow.
So they did surgery and took a big chunk of my hip, my left iliac crest, and wired me back together on the back of my neck. And I just went forward and kept doing. This was in 89, 88. And, we didn't have seat belts. Seat belts are not a thing. And we didn't have, physical therapy. They never told me what I couldn't do. So I just kept doing stuff. And I don't know, a few years went by, and every dentist I ever worked for said, "Why aren't you a dentist?" So finally I ran out of good reasons, and my logic was, time's going to pass anyway. I might as well be a doctor. And
I like it.
I was doing part-time hygiene in 3 different offices because it's a higher daily rate. You know how it goes. And I quit 3 jobs in 2 weeks and went back to college. And when I did that, I took off this enormous mental burden of all the finances, and I went here, and I handed those over to my husband, and I didn't worry about it anymore. And somehow magically, with a lot of student loan debt, I became a dentist.
At least it was in the 90s. Now I'd be way worse.
True that.
No, I graduated. So in hygiene school, I graduated hygiene school in 91. I graduated dental school in 09. So it took me a little bit to decide to go back, but I've been self-employed. I have a practice in a small town, and I don't like bending over and looking upside down in a dark hole anymore and doing the upside down Thriller dance. So
is the dark hole in this scenario a mouse?
It's no fun, and it hurts my body now. I had a bit of a breakdown in 2018, and my favorite nerve, the vagus nerve, decided it didn't want to play nice with the rest of my body, and I couldn't make my body get out of fight or flight.
Well,
my blood pressure was ridiculous. We couldn't keep it normalized. I went for about 3 weeks and I wasn't able to work.
Wow.
I couldn't go out in public for about a week. It was really crazy. I did a lot of therapy with a trauma coach, and I did a therapy called EMDR, which is rapid eye movement, to help me rewrite my memories. And since all memory is somatic, that's rewriting all the way back down to how you breathe. So basically I had to go learn how to breathe again. Crazy. And learn how to sit up straight again, and learn how to just live differently. So one of the therapies that was suggested to me at the time was laughter yoga, actually. And, all this happened in late 2018. And then COVID kind of happened. So it took me a little while to investigate and finally find laughter yoga. And what laughter yoga is it's an exercise program that combines deep breathing and laughter exercises. The whole point of yogic breathing is to breathe out more than you breathe in. what better way to do that than when you're laughing?
True.
So there's this awesome fun fact that your brain and your body don't know the difference between laughter that is spontaneous because you're watching awesome cat videos and laughter that's intentional because you're doing it on purpose. You're gonna create serotonin and dopamine in your gut. And if you make eye contact with each other while you're fake laughing, you're gonna make oxytocin too, because it's the I love you chemical. And we do that when we look at each other. So this means that, a lot of coaches use neuro-linguistic programming, use NLP to help you change the words that you say to yourself. This is kind of a bypass to the word system, changing how your body reacts. Plus, it's good for you. It's great breathing techniques.
Yeah.
Even when you just do syllables, I'll teach you some syllables and some things in just a minute. But you're activating when you're laughing, you're activating your diaphragm. When you activate your diaphragm, that's your parasympathetic nervous system taking over, and that's allowing different areas of your brain to be able to function. Right. So you feel better in like 2 minutes. All you have to do is laugh on purpose.
I love that.
That's it in a nutshell.
It's so positive, and also like the happiest, most fun times and memories are when you're laughing so hard.
Right.
In my family, you laugh so hard that you either pee your pants a little bit or you have to run to the bathroom. But that's just our family thing, I guess.
Yeah. Our family trait is that when we laugh so hard, like sound stops coming out. Like you can't catch your breath, and it's like, the
wheeze.
The wheeze. Yeah. That's our family trait is.
That's slightly less embarrassing than ours.
Well, it's
I love it.
We also pee our pants to it. So don't worry. Don't
anybody
worry.
that's had children, I think you're allowed to say that you're in that club now.
Yeah. Yeah. We, it sounds like one of my sisters in particular sounds like it's like a car trying to turn over, and like it just doesn't quite turn over, which then makes us all laugh even harder. And so then like
I have a laughter exercise like that. That's funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I love it. What a fun story, and like what a fun way to get there. So can you tell us a little bit more about like kind of the origins of like laughter yoga, or like how it even came to be?
Right. So laughter yoga started in 1995. There was a medical doctor in Mumbai, India, who he's married to a yogi, and he wanted to create a way to actually quantifiably study laughter. And they got together, 5 people got together and formed the first laughter club in a park in Mumbai, India, in March 1995. They started out by telling jokes, and after about a month, they ran out of jokes. The jokes started to be a little crass and not, what everybody would necessarily laugh at. So he said, you know what? Let's just try laughing on purpose for no reason. And that's kind of how it started.
I love that.
It started with 5 people in a park, and there are 10,000 laughter clubs all over the world now.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
he had
cool.
a retreat in Bali last year.
Sick. Let's go, Meg.
Yeah, that's it. We're going.
I want to go to Bali. I think that'd be amazing.
We're all going.
Right.
Clear your schedules.
So I took this spiritual coaching course like last year, which I loved because I felt like it really helps me to like center in my body, ground myself, and then kind of like work on my mindfulness, which I'm not the best at, but I'm really working on it. And one of the things that we were taught is chakra singing. So I'm curious if it's similar to laughter yoga, and you sing a note from that chakra, using the different like parts of your lungs as you go up. Is that similar to laughter yoga at all?
So yes and no. I do humming in addition to, so I think humming is more there. But with laughter is meditative. when you're laughing, you're not thinking thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
All you're doing is you're in that moment and you're mindful and you're meditative. So it's very similar.
Yeah.
I love that you got to do that. That sounds amazing.
Oh, it was like my favorite class ever. Because like, you know, what they were saying is like your throat chakra, it demands respect. Like it wants you to acknowledge that you have a voice, you have a message. So you sing from the different parts of your chakras, but also you're singing from different points in your lungs, and you're imagining the colors of your chakras at the same time. So I've never felt more calm in my whole life.
I love that so much.
Did it sound ridiculous at the time? Yes. I had headphones in. My fiance is next to me, and I'm just,
when you're there and when you're feeling that in that moment in your body, no, I completely understand that.
Oh, I loved it, but I was like, I'm sure that sounds ridiculous.
It's all right. Even if it did, Andy was like the world's biggest supporter. So he's like, whatever you're doing, I know it's weird, but good for you, babe.
That's too funny. That's too funny.
So I am curious how, like, one, props to you for making the jump from hygienist to dentist. Like, that is a hard step. Congratulations. How have you been able to like make this other transition from dentistry onto the next thing that your soul is calling you to?
So that's been a big challenge. The first thing I did was I found out, I found laughter yoga online. I could take the class or I could learn how to teach the class. And I'm like, well, duh. I'm going to do that second thing. Why would I just take the class? So, let me back up. When my mind and my brain were so broken, I had a whole lot of heroes that helped put me back together. And one of the things that I did was read, and I read brain book after brain book, and I just wasn't quite able to figure out that last little piece for what I wanted to say and how I wanted to tell my story. And then I took laughter yoga and I started to really understand what it is it's reprogramming for your body. And that's when it all just sort of clicked. And I was like, wait, I can do this. I can make myself feel better all the time. I can bring other people with me, and I can make this customizable for people. So it's a great social connector, and I'm going to make people healthier, and they're going to have a great time doing it. And like, I couldn't find anything bad to say about it. It started out with me teaching locally. We have a beverage district here in Pittsburgh. We have a meadery and a cider works and a distillery and a small microbrewery all in this little area, fun. Right? So I would teach on Sunday mornings to a faithful dozen people.
Love it.
Some were different people every time. And sometimes I had 3 people. Sometimes I had 1 person. And it's challenging. I was at a music festival this spring, and if I was teaching traditional yoga, I could just, start posing or something. But it's laughter yoga, and the only way to do it is to just laugh. And I'm really glad I had 1 person show up, because I'm not sure what to laugh by myself.
They're like, that is a crazy lady.
Yeah, like, who's this weirdo just laughing over in the like courtyard?
But honestly, we don't use jokes. We don't use funny things to watch. We just laugh. Well, there's 4 steps.
That takes some talent.
It just takes commitment. Anybody can laugh for 5 syllables. Ha 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 ha. You can laugh for 5 syllables. And then you can do it a little longer than that. And then it's your diaphragm working. And then the next thing you know, you're laughing, because it really catches after about 20 seconds.
I keep thinking of Santa Claus, like, ho, 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 ho.
I love that. I love that.
That's
Yeah, and I
great.
think that, I think actually even it comes back to our card that we pulled today, right? A little bit of humility, a
Yeah.
little bit I clearly signed up for this not to take myself seriously.
Mhm.
I signed up for this to like let myself go a little bit. Like I know why I'm here.
Yeah.
And I think that also is like, and I know why everybody else is here. Right. So like nobody in this group is going to be looking at me like I'm weird because like we're all here for the same reason. And I think that, there's community within that, right? There's community and
Absolutely.
connection within that.
Yeah, I did a cacao ceremony, which is like it's basically like Mayan hot chocolate. Nothing fun in there, guys. Just Mayan hot chocolate.
Yes, just Mayan hot chocolate.
And they say it's like a heart opener. So we did like a breath work, and then we did the cacao, and then we did what's called like a Shakti shadow dance, which is basically just like yoga, and then you dance with your eyes closed in the dark. And the whole point is just to like be in your body and like be present, just like move where you want to move. And it felt really good when you had your eyes closed. But if you look around and you start looking at the other people, then you're like, okay, we all look so stupid right now. But then it's like, okay, like don't worry about anyone else. Like just worry about me and just like be in the moment, feel the vibe. And I actually I loved it. I loved it a lot. Andy, I dragged him with me. He was not happy about it, but at the end he was like, I really liked that. I resonated with that. Let's do more of that.
Excellent.
Winning.
Is that the sign for winning? If you guys are listening.
Hashtag.
The hashtag.
Okay.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay. I might be losing my millennial card on that one because I had no idea what gang signs you were throwing up there. So what would a typical laughter yoga class even look like? Because you guys know at the end that we're going to be doing some laughter yoga with Laura. So I'm going to prep you guys right now. So what would it even kind of go through?
So it's my typical class is an hour. We do the first couple of minutes, we do an intro. Just I talk about what laughter yoga is and what it does. So what it does is decreases your circulating cortisol, increases your heart rate variability, decreases your blood pressure, increases your immunity. I've got studies out the wazoo now that we know how to study it. It's cool. It's so nice. They have a control group. We'll watch a boring documentary video, and experimental group 1 will watch funny videos, and group 2 will actually participate in laughter yoga exercises. And they all have to. It's a subjective rating for some of it for mood, and then there's actual vital signs and cortisol levels and all kinds of fun things. So I explain, we talk, we do a little bit of deep breathing, and then we do 15 or 20 minutes worth of laughter yoga exercises. And usually laughter yoga exercises consist of clapping, childlike playfulness. We have a cheer, right? Breathing and clapping, breathing, laughter exercises, and childlike playfulness. That's 4 things. And after the first little bit, the first third of the session, then we do what's called a laughter meditation. So we control our breathing, and then we sit in a group. If you can do your shoulders touching, it's nice. If you can feel the person that's next to you, we sit quietly, and then we chuckle softly until it gets louder and louder and louder. And then we just laugh, and it happens kind of organically. We do 2 or 3 little waves of this laughter meditation. And then we close the session with guided meditation.
Beautiful.
And a guided relaxation. We do a little bit of affirmations and say thank you to the sky, because usually we're outside.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah.
So you're kind of getting that connection to each other, a little bit of touch with the other person, which is also very soothing and grounding, as well as you're kind of connecting your body. Now, when you're doing laughter yoga, are you working on the vagus nerve tone, or how is that?
That's exactly how that works. So when you're laughing, you're disengaging your sympathetic nervous system. And we do these laughter exercises. The majority of them are pantomiming a normal activity. When I first took laughter yoga, it was shortly after the pandemic. And one of the exercises that we had was pretending to wash our hands. So we washed our hands and we laughed for like a minute and a half while we scrubbed it. Right. And we're just laughing. Now, as a hygienist, guys, how many times a day do you wash your damn hands? What if you just gave your brain that tiny little split second of, oh, don't panic right now, over something as simple as washing your hands or putting on a mask or not touching somebody because now we have to worry about COVID. So these exercises, I had a client one day. She came in late, so she missed the beginning of the session, and we were done. And I said, well, what's the most stressful part of your day? And she said, well, I work for the county. I answering the phone. And I was like, oh honey, yeah. Let's just do that for 2 minutes right now. So we pretended to laugh into our pretend phones. And we showed each other the conversation, and we the whole group just pretend laughed with her. Mm-hmm. And the next 100 times she picks up the phone, her body's not going to go quite as much. Because we just taught it a different trick. Did that make sense?
Yeah. I actually heard about something this week that was like, when you feel triggered by some sort of limiting belief or some sort of emotion, that if you train your body to associate a certain touch or a certain motion with a new positive one, that you can like get yourself out of that bad feeling.
It's building a different memory. Building a whole different muscle memory. But yeah, that's exactly it.
Gosh, that's so interesting.
Yeah. Laura, I want to, and hopefully this isn't too personal.
No.
So as you're on this expansion journey of your career, but also like your soul and your life's purpose, what, if you could have like your perfect thing, like what would be your ideal situation going forward?
My ideal situation going forward. Funny you should ask, because I'm looking at this wall with all the things on it right now. Ideally, I would like to have a retreat. I would like to own the property. I would like to have a place for people to come. In addition to the retreats that I host in exotic places like Puerto Rico in November.
We'll plug that. We'll tell you guys what that is in a minute.
But no, but in addition to that, what I would like is a place where you can let out all the limiting stuff. If you need a room to go yell in for 5 minutes, do you want a room to go sing in for 20 minutes? Go do that. Sometimes there's words we can't even say. And if you think about it like you're singing it in a whole different voice. You know, I want to help people be able to say things that they need to say that they can't. And if that means you're in a room where, nobody can hear anything, then that's okay. If you need to go, take this baseball bat to that car for 20 seconds or 20 minutes, do that. Do you want to go throw some plates against the wall? All right. I want to have a whole other section for art where you can throw paint at the wall if you'd like to. Take some of the stuff you smashed, put it on your painting after you've done some yoga. How do you feel now? Let out all what needs to come out, and then we're the ones in charge of putting it back in. So ideally, I would own that place and I would live there, and there would be goats and cats and a big garden and that.
Well, maybe you could do goat yoga then.
Bring that in too. Why not? I love that. I think that's so beautiful. And I love that dream and that beautiful space of like, whatever it is that you need to release, we have all these different options, whether it's a peaceful release, whether you need to get things out, say things to the universe that like maybe you don't want anybody else to hear, and release those thoughts and those feelings and release those like things in the body that like just kind of hold us back. And I think there's something so powerful to it. And then, at the end, you laugh it all off and you bring in something new.
Yeah.
We want to introduce the Spot for Tots course, a parent's guide for toddlers ages 2 to 5 for Mini Mayo. We have Megan and Kimmy going over nasal hygiene, myofunctional exercises, breathing exercises, tongue tie healing protocols, and then we have Jenny June going over sleep hygiene, and Kelsey Baker going over feeding therapy and body work. The course is $297, and the link will be in the description.
Will you teach us some laughter yoga?
I will teach you some laughter yoga. Yes, I will.
I've already got the giggles.
Right,
I already see Kimmy doing this, like the shy Kimmy.
All right, so we're gonna do the seated version of laughter yoga. So I'm gonna teach you a couple of exercises. Before we do that, I'm gonna teach you our cheer. And yes, I make roomfuls of grown-up dentists in ties and suits and coats do this. It's hilarious. So remember that with laughter yoga, we're calling on our childlike playfulness. Children laugh between 300 and 400 times a day. The average adult
Isabel, at
laughs
least 500.
Yeah. The average adult laughs 17 times for 3 to 4 seconds. So childlike playfulness. Here's our cheer. We say very good, very good. Yay!
Oh, I love that. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, ready? Very good.
Very good. Yay!
All right. We also, when we clap finger to finger, palm to palm. And we have the laughter yoga rhythm. We're going to do this 4 times, and then we're going to do our cheer. So we say, ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Come on. Ho,
Ho,
ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha.
Perfect. Very good. Very good.
Yay!
Let me just say that when we do the very good, yay cheer with kindergarten, it's spectacular. And when I do it at the old folks' home, it's just as much fun because you have to remember to reward yourself. So this first laughter yoga exercise that we're going to do is called argument laughter. Okay. So since we're not in public or we're not with each other, usually what we do is we wander around the room and we interact with everyone in the room. We get to interact with all of us on the screen. We're going to do this for about 45 seconds. Okay. I want you to hold up your arguing finger and I want you to laugh. You have to
I actually think I've seen Kimmy do this before.
Very good.
Very good.
Very good. Very good. Yay!
Now, these exercises work best when, especially if you're not feeling it, if you just throw it all in there, right? I had a dental assistant who was like, you can't make us laugh. I'm like, you're right, I can't. And then like a couple weeks went by and I learned that exercise and I was like, oh. It's one of her favorite exercises. We do another exercise that most of us being entrepreneurs can identify with. It's called credit card laughter. So you're gonna open up your pretend credit card bill, and it's not good. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Oh.
Show me.
This feels more like IBS to me.
Very good.
Whoa. Very good. Yay!
We will take that exercise and we'll pair it with the paycheck exercise, which is just as bad for other reasons. And sometimes we just take a deep breath in, we hold it, and we bend over and we laugh all the air out.
Oh, that's fun.
I have different exercises to empty out the different areas of your lungs, depending on how you're laughing and how you're holding your body. And right before I close the exercises, the last thing that I like to do is have my people in a big group, a big circle.
Mm-hmm.
So we go out as far as we can safely go, depending on my terrain where I am. And we slowly creep towards the center of the room with our fingers out, and we say vowel sounds. So we come towards each other and we go, A. When we get to the middle of the room, we go, and we all dance back out. And so we're exercising like different facial muscles, right? With A,
Yeah.
E, I, O.
A, E. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Oh, yep. Oh, yeah.
We have lawnmower laughter. You were talking about your sister. Was it your sister?
Yeah.
I
Right?
have to know what that is.
So it's the same. It's the same as your car won't start because it's cold laughter. So if it's summertime and you're trying to pull your laughter lawnmower, you start out.
I love that.
But we do this together as a big group.
All right, Megan, let's go.
Ready? All right. Get your
All right.
lawnmowers ready.
We sound like evil witches.
We might be. Oh, that's so fun. Yeah. Like we'll get to the point if we're laughing so hard we're crying that it's like
right, and then it's perfect. So my favorite laughter exercise is silent laughter. We've all had to laugh silently.
Oh, the worst.
So the German I know of a German study that shows that laughter yoga is better for your abs than crunches.
I believe it.
And silent laughter is the exercise to do that. So now you just know to laugh in the shower every day. I'm exercising and laughing. I'm winning.
Or
multitasking.
For our family, it would be church laughter. You don't get smacked in the head by mom and dad.
Exactly. So we just spent about 4 or 5 minutes giggling, laughing, raising our serotonin and our dopamine.
Mm-hmm.
And
working our face muscles.
All right, working our face muscles, breathing on purpose, and being in charge of our own joy.
I love that. Being in charge of our own joy. I think that's
the name of the company, Intentional Joy. You like it?
I love it. I love it.
Me too.
I've been thinking about that a lot this week. It's like Megan and I are kind of on the frontier where it's like, okay, how do we get you to function as a normal, basic human? Step 2 is like, how do we get healthier? And then the step above that is like almost like the expansion of your life's purpose, like your soul's expansion. Like, what do you actually want to do when you're not just in pure survival mode? So this was really, really beautiful of being like, okay, you were a hygienist, then you were a dentist. The dentist was not the pinnacle for you. You have more that you want to do. And I love that you're not holding yourself back. Like, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Like, it's like, I want to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be brave and I'm going to jump.
Yeah. And I love that. And I love that about you. And I love that kind of about the community that we're in. And I'll let you share more about it too, Laura. But one of the things that, that she kind of plugged here for a sec, you guys, was a retreat coming up in November that she's hosting, that, everybody's invited to, I'm sure. To where it's like you're starting that dream. You made that leap. Like I said, this is what I want to do. So like we're doing it.
Yeah. And let me just say, I went back to dental school because I really didn't feel like anybody would listen to the words that were coming out of my mouth if I was only a hygienist. I am so in awe of you guys because you guys are doing the thing without the additional hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt and the additional pressure.
Yeah.
So I really wish I had believed in myself more then,
Yeah. Well, and I think it's a little bit different now because there is social media and there are things like podcasts. There are other ways to like find your dreams and pursue that. And I mean, man, Kimmy and I have been in that situation where, as the hygienist, like nobody wants to listen to you, or you see all those like jokes and memes or like, well, I'm just, once the hygienist is done with me, I'm starstruck when the dentist comes in, or aren't you just supposed to like floss my teeth, or, or I actually, when I started, I don't know, have I ever shared this on the podcast before, Kimmy?
Just briefly, but just like throw it out there because it's a great story, and then I'll tell mine.
Yeah. The amount of times I've gotten fired from dental offices for pursuing myofunctional therapy, 3 would be the number, you guys. The very first dentist, like who I was training to be a myofunctional therapist. I told him all about it. I was super excited. This is back in 2015. So pumped, thought he was going to be so supportive of me because he was in every other way. And then as soon as I started the business and he was like, well, don't you need to work under a dentist? And I said, no, this is completely separate. And he was like, I don't think this is going to work because I don't think you should be allowed to run your own business. And I was like, 25 and about 26. And I was like, I should be able to run my own business because I have a pulse. Like, literally, because I'm literally a human, I'm allowed to run whatever darn business I want to. Like, what? You're not my dad, right? Like, what do your parents think about this? So like, I just cured my dad of snoring. So my mom's pretty pumped, and so is my dad. Like, I don't know. What do you mean?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, and then the journey continues on. And, anytime I was like, yeah, I'm not just a hygienist. And they're like, well, you're not the one for us then. Right. And now I found my people, and I found my space, and I found my Kimmy, and I have amazing patients, and, and I've joined the community with you, Dr. Laura. And, obviously there's more coming, but like, geez Louise.
Well, let me just tell you, dental school did not prepare me at all for the reality that is the tongue.
Yeah.
I know. Not at all.
Not at all. And honestly, it wasn't until, my body was healing and I was trying to relearn it. And I don't know, somehow innately I knew that's what was going on as it was happening. It's just really difficult to describe what's going on in your brain while it's going on. But while I was in this, at home that month, I started, I figured, if my brain's putting itself back together anyway, then let's try to do it a little different this time. So I started standing on my non-dominant leg more. I started trying to eat with my non-dominant hand and write with my non-dominant hand. And I can do that now.
Amazing.
So I figured it was all broken pretty bad. If I'm going to get in there at the ground floor while it's putting itself back together, let's do that. But it's really interesting how important my tongue position is to my overall sense of balance. And just my overall sense of being centered.
Love it.
And why is that? Because if your tongue is fully in the palate and it's against your soft palate, it stimulates your vagus nerve, peeps.
That's it. Hashtag
vagus nerve.
I love it. That is so perfect.
I want to tell my story really quick too, because I am more like maybe no one will believe this, but I actually feel very shy most of the time.
I will vouch for that for Kimmy in real life. Okay.
IRL.
I will vouch for that.
IRL, I can be like kind of shy, and I will defer to whoever I think is like the more like dominant person. So when I first learned about Maya, like I was too scared to even talk about like airway or anything to the company I work for. I was like a manager over corporate dentistry, but I was too nervous to like talk to the doctors because I was like, well, I'm just the hygienist. They're not gonna listen to me. Like, like they're gonna like ask me questions I don't know, and I'm gonna die if I have that happen.
I see this in my head. I see this playing out for you.
Oh yeah. Full body sweats, everything. So I would like tell my patients if I saw something, and like the pinnacle of this when I would decided I needed to have bigger whats was when I told a patient that I saw a lot of signs of sleep apnea and that I thought they should get tested. And the orthodontist was mad at me because she thought they needed braces. And I was like, well, they can't breathe and they're choking and snoring in my chair while they're wide awake. So I think they need to get tested for sleep apnea. And she tells me, you're a dental hygienist. You're down here. I'm an orthodontist. I'm up here.
No. Oh.
And that's around the time where I met Megan, and Megan helped me grow bigger, whats.
That's where I was like, you need to start charging people for bio. You need to believe in yourself. We need to do this podcast.
Yes.
It's fine if you get fired. I'm fine.
That's perfect.
Oh man, I know.
I love it.
It's so crazy. Just kind of the journeys that get us here. But like also I'm really grateful because like I left the dental hygiene chair over 3 years ago now, and I'm so grateful for that. And who knows if if that dentist who I originally worked for, who I adored, if he wouldn't have fired me for starting my own business, I'd probably still be there just like clocking in, clocking out. So I do believe to an extent everything happens for a reason. There's some things I could argue with, but other things, I think that there's a path for any kind of resistance or those things. So, yeah. And I think that's one of those things about kind of people like us, and that like, we always want to do more and we always want to help people in more ways and other ways. And how can we meet people where they're at, and how can we, and I think that's why we're always growing and trying to learn new things. And I know that obviously we're not the only 3 people in the world like that. But I think that's kind of what sets people like us aside, is that like, it's not an end all be all. I know there's more ways I can help people, and like, what is that and how can I do it? And I love that you have found that and you're pursuing that. I think that's so cool. And I feel a little better now that we have laughed, because you guys, I guess I'll share with you, because before we start this episode, I was sharing with Dr. Laura and Kimmy that we are in the midst of a 2-year-old sleep regression situation, and Izzy baby is having a rough go. So mommy is also having a rough go. So a little laughter yoga was just what I needed tonight. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
So Dr. Laura, if people want to find you and find intentional joy or find laughter yoga, how could they do that? Well, they know where to find your office, but where could they find?
My website is currently being developed.
Yay. Okay.
But they can reach me at collatzdds@gmail.com.
Beautiful. And we'll link that.
There you go.
And are you on any social media?
I'm on Facebook. I'm Laura Collatz on Facebook, and we're going to be having an online laughter presence on Facebook very soon.
Yay.
So it's my goal to be able to laugh live with everybody for like a minute every day.
I love that.
I love that. I love it. Well, and of course, if you guys want to find us, you can find us at the Munch Bunch Mayo podcast on Instagram and YouTube. Actually, it is really funny because if you just look up the Munch Bunch on YouTube, you will find an old 70s puppet show, which would also make you laugh. So if you want to find, laugh first, then find us, right? The Munch Bunch Mayo podcast. And you can find me at NWMFT. You can find Kimmy at Mouth Muscle Memory. And we are so excited and so happy to have got to spend today with you. Another another Munchy Monday, starting off strong, getting our laughs in before we get into the rest of the week. So thank you so much again. We'll link everything in this episode, you guys, and hopefully we'll be able to find you guys at a laughter yoga class soon.